Todd Valentine is a dating coach that used to work for Real Social Dynamics, which was a company that was very popular in 2010. Now, they were in the dating niche at the time, so it was still a niche, but it was quite a reasonably popular niche globally. And so in this video, I want to talk about what are the things that I learned from Todd Valentine, Real Social Dynamics, that niche, that made me more able to express myself more freely and feel more at ease with myself, more confident with myself, and also in my conversations. So I'm going to share my story here. So back in 2010, when it started, Real Social Dynamics was popular back then. I used to be a very computer kind of kid, playing a lot of video games. And I think part of that was a choice on my part that I wanted to play these games. But also looking back on that, like a big part of that was a big mistake on my part for isolating myself that much. I think that gave me some, I fucked up that part of life earlier on. And so that's why I got into that, because that culture was about, if you are kind of like behind in life socially and you are stuck maybe in isolation and you want to learn to express yourself more, then you need to go out there in the real world and you need to do things in the real world and talk to real people. And so that was a thing where they kind of challenged you as a guy to meet strangers and start conversations with strangers, and also women, right? A woman that you meet on the streets, at a bar, like anywhere, like learn to meet people. And that taught me a lot about just doing that gave me a lot of was really cool, but then also believe in myself that I could do those things. Because it does take a little bit of, it does feel a little bit unnatural, especially in the time that we live, to just go and approach someone and say hello and start a conversation. So that was something that I learned from them, that I value a lot. And that made me able to express myself more clearly as well, which is still an exercise I'm doing to this day with making this personal brand thing here and things like that. And also, I think that's gonna remain an important part of my life, the cold approach, the personal development, and of course the woman as well. And for me, it's gonna be about finding a balance between entrepreneurship, my business on the one hand, and then also doing the things with the cold approach. That is still an important part for me, because I still haven't found a woman that I share my life with, or that I want to share my life with as well, I guess. So I'm still searching for that, and I'm still, developing myself as well in that way, because at the end of the day, you're not gonna find the right outcome if you don't develop yourself to attract that outcome first, right? So working on that, but it's, this might be a little bit controversial, I know, but for me it isn't just about finding a wife. It's also, I just love meeting women, and I see that as a way, at least I used to see that as a way to really grow myself. As I'm getting older, I think it feels a little bit weirder for me to do that, but it's still something I value. I put a lot of time into that, and so I still want to do that. I'm probably still going to do that, but it's obviously going to be important for me also to find a way to do that I can also then do it in the right way, in a way that I that I'm adding value, that I'm empowering myself, that I'm also empowering other people. And then maybe find a way to integrate that in my business as well. But I think if you are into like sales and entrepreneurship, there are things that you can learn from just meeting people, meeting strangers, meeting women. Because those are different conversations that are, in my eyes, they are more real conversations. Because when you are into sales, we try to make it real, but it's not really, right? I mean, at the end, we're still selling a product. And I think by just talking to people in the real world, guys as well, it doesn't need to be women. By talking to people in the real world, you're gonna develop more of a real connection with people. And also you're gonna develop, become more charismatic. And I don't mean that you need to become a clown, but you can just be more fluent at interacting with people, more confident, more powerful as well. It's up to you the way you develop yourself, right? So, but I think that's an important thing that you can do, or it's not, for me it's important, it doesn't need to be important for you, but it is something you can learn from. But I would challenge you, if you do that, if you do approach strangers, or if you do approach women, I would challenge you to, yes, do that. That's a challenge in itself. But I would also challenge you to do it in the right way, because I think like the culture right now, that's probably a lot of due to cold approach that things got fucked up. I don't think that's really not the only reason, but probably like there are some things that people didn't do right. So yeah, I would challenge you, if you do that, try to find the right way to do that. And obviously that's going to be a challenge in itself. But in itself, when you think about it, there's nothing wrong about meeting a stranger, or meeting a woman, or even dating and sex. There is nothing wrong with that, right? But it can be wrong if you go about it the wrong way, obviously, right? And that's why I wanted to mention that. So when I think about Todd, Todd has always been my favorite coach in RSD, along with Owen. With Owen, I kind of like his mindset, the person he is, and his philosophy. And with Todd, I just kind of like the way he goes about meeting women during the day, and where he strategizes more about things. I think that's cool about Todd. No, I don't subscribe to either of them, because I don't agree with all of the things they say by any means. But I do think they do have a lot of good ideas, but you really need to filter them. It's my opinion. And I think that's a very grounded opinion that I have. Because let's say that you don't filter them, you're going to become like them. You're just going to go meeting people, and you're probably going to become like a little bit ungrounded, in my eyes. I think if you don't think about family along with meeting women, then you're going about it in an ungrounded way. That's my opinion. I think if you just go, pick up women all the time, you will become, even if you try to do it in a moral way, you will still become an unbalanced person. That's my opinion. because you're missing out on what I think is a crucial element of human life, which is like family and just normal interaction, which is also very important, probably even more important. But at the end of the day, that has nothing to do with cold approach, right? Cold approach is just going into the world, talking to people, learning to express yourself, becoming more conversational, more confident in yourself. And that's very cool. And so what Todd in his style is more of like a strategy of like meeting women. And you can kind of compare this like to sales. Because in sales, you have like the intro, the discovery, the transition, the pitch, the close, the objection handling, and things like that. And so Todd teaches this a little bit of a similar framework, but for meeting women. Also, there are a lot of like theories and that niche, the pickup or call approach niche, that you can strategize about, the open, the premise, the evaluate, the narration, the close, things like that. A lot of tactics that you can use. And I think that those are helpful if you are starting out. They are helpful if you are starting out. But it's the same thing in sales, in my opinion. Like, there's many things that you can learn. At the end of the day, it all kind of converges into your understanding of it, right? Everything is nuanced, so there's not just one framework for anything, even though we can try to put it to the best of our ability at a certain time. One framework will almost never be complete. So at the end of the day, you want to develop your own understanding of it, but some of the things they taught me was helpful, and I think I'm gonna continue doing a little bit of that, not necessarily in the way that they teach, but just continue with going in the real world, meeting real people, meeting also real women, and just having real conversations with people. And I think that's going to help me also in entrepreneurship. And that's not actually the main reason why I do it, because the main reason why I do it is for my own life. I just think it's fun to meet people. I just think it's fun to grow into a person who becomes more expressive. And you also feel a lot more at ease with yourself in social situations, and you start to enjoy social situations more. So that's probably the main reason I want to do it, if I'm being frank. But also, yes, I do think it will help with sales and entrepreneurship as well, because being able to make real connections is going to be a very powerful addition to just knowing the sales process and just doing sales calls all day. You want to be able, in my opinion, you want to be able to develop real connections with people as well. And that's what cold approach teaches you. Even if you choose not to meet women, I mean, you could do that. If you wanted to focus more on business, for example, I think it's still a valid way to go. But yeah, I don't want to make this video any longer, guys. I'm really thinking about where can I take all this, because I'm pretty sure that I have to, and I want to make it a part of my life, because I invested so much into that. But then also it's going to be finding for me the right way to go about that. There's a lot of things I need to think about for myself, for my own life, and for my business as well, and for my channel here with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry, I know I was a little bit over the place. So is my head at the moment, but we're gonna try to find a direction with the brand. I might take a little bit of more time to do more of the approach thing, but we're still gonna try to find a direction for the brand and the business. So guys, I'll catch you later. Have a great day. Have a great new year. Bye-bye.